sit here. Come here. Please.
विश्वतः परमां नित्यं विश्वनारायणगं हरिं विश्वमेवेदगमविश्वमुपजीवति पतिं विश्वस्यात्मेश्वरं शाश्वतं शिवमच्युतं नारायणं महाज्ञेयं विश्वात्मानं परायणं नारायणपरो ज्योतिरात्मा नारायणः परः नारायणपरं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं नारायणः परः नारायणपरो ज्ञाता ध्यानं नारायणः परः यच्च किञ्चित् जगत् सर्वं दृश्यते श्रूयते विमान् अन्तर्बहिश्च तत्सर्वं व्याप्य नारायणः स्थितः अनन्तमव्ययं कविगुं समुद्रेऽन्तौ विश्वशम्भुवम् पद्मकोशप्रतीकाशगुं हृदयं चाप्यधोमुखम् अधो निश्यामितस्यान्तेनाभ्यामुपरि तिष्ठति ज्वालमालाकुलं भाति विश्वस्यायतनं महत् सन्ततगुं शिलाविस्तुलं भक्त्याकोशसन्निभम् तस्यान्ते सुशिरगुं सूक्ष्मं तस्मिन् सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितम् तस्य मध्ये महानग्निर्विश्वाचिर्विश्वतो मुखः सोऽग्रभुग्विभजन् तिष्ठन्नाहारमजरः कविः तिर्यगोर्ध्वमधशायी रश्मयस्तस्य सन्तता सन्तापयति स्वं देहमापादकलमस्तकः तस्य मध्ये त्वन्निशिखा अणीयोर्ध्वार्यवस्थितः नीलतो यतमध्यस्था विद्युल्लेखेव भास्वरा नीवारशूकवत्तन्वी पीताभास्वत्यनोपमा तस्याः शिखाया मध्ये परमात्मा व्यवस्थितः स ब्रह्म स शिवः स हरिस्तेन्द्रः सोऽक्षरः परमस्वराट् पृथगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ओम् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय आविराविर्मयिधि Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. In this living world, we see, living and thriving, we see so many creatures. They also live, and human beings also live. We see one is healthy, one is not healthy. So all these differences we see in this world. In the beginning, when human race was hunter-gatherer, not many things were known. Then gradually they found some herbs, some remedies for ailments. First, when they progressed, they were healthy, but then something they could not figure out what is happening and how death comes. But gradually they started understanding the nature of various elements, various herbs. So the point is living in this world in a healthy and in a life which is better than ordinary. To explore that, gradually we find the knowledge came, and one source of knowledge was some seekers and seers, those who sought for truth, those who tried to find out what is reality. They concentrated, they tried to find out through meditation, through various means, exploration, and we find a text come to us, to our rishis, to our seers, because they lived a pure life of dedication, and in their mind they realized some mantras came, what we call Veda. And in that Veda, not only ritualistic, but gradually they found the refinement and found what is the secret of living well in this world. So one thing is Ayurveda, as we find. Please switch that up. One thing we find Ayurveda, by the help of various herbs, they found how to get cured when somebody is suffering from any disease. And gradually we also discovered, the rishis discovered various principles of life. And in that time comes Yoga Sutra. Yoga Sutra, as we know, is my aphorisms on yoga, how to control our mind. Because gradually they discovered not only physical being, we have a mental existence which is subtler than the gross. Whatever we see in this world, that's gross. We can touch, we can taste, we can smell, we can see, or we can hear. This is gross existence. But behind this, something subtler. When I am speaking, I am thinking. But you cannot see that thought. You cannot see my emotions. But those are also very much there. So they gradually they discovered various dimensions of the human being. Then behind that is the spirit. And then came Upanishads. So to cut the long story short, we are very happy today that we are having one-day retreat. We wanted to have 2 days because 1 day is not enough. And I beg your pardon, but what to do? We have to adjust ourselves. So We'll start with the Ayurveda, but before that, I would request Gorima to introduce her, because we are organized in a very hurried manner. So, yes.
Namaste everybody. My name is Gauri Joshi. I live in Hillsborough. This is my first visit to Vedanta Society, but I have.
Mic to the.
Am I audible?
Yeah, no, sir.
But not to external.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a fan of mics, but we had, like Swamiji said, a 2-day retreat plan. But because it was one day, we were able to capitalize and use Vedaji's expertise and meet other families yesterday. And we had a wonderful time. I'm sure we will see that today as well. So I will just introduce Vedashri Rajesh Kavarji. She is from California in the US. She's been here since 2013. And they've lived in California since 2022. From Bharat, she's from Jaipur, Rajasthan. She has a BA MS and an MD in Ayurveda from Bharat. She was a gold medalist in her MD degree. She also is a certified Iyengar yoga expert. She is a yoga therapist. And she has her own practice where she works with clients to bring Ayurveda and yoga in synergy to help them get balanced and harmonious lives. Vedaji is also part of the HSS Shakha in Irvine. So she's associated with the Hindu community where she volunteers. She brings her expertise to various events and shares this knowledge with everybody. She has also done workshops and courses for Yoga Kulam. So Yoga Kulam is a recent organization that was formed in 2024 with the goal of keeping yoga and Ayurveda connected to the dharmic roots and texts that we know of. Because lately, that disconnect seems to be more obvious. So it's founded with that vision and mission of keeping the connection stronger and building the community around that connection. So drawing from the depth. With that, I think I will hand over to Vaidyaji. She has 2 sessions today with you. The first one is in the morning and then pranayama and relaxation, and then the second session in the evening. I hope all of you enjoy her wisdom and her presentation as much as we did. Dhanyavad.
Yes, the token of our love and honor.
Yeah, no, it's
Just
yeah,
something. Is it okay?
Ji. So first of all, I really want to express my gratitude to Swamiji, Vedanta Society, Yoga Kulam to give me this opportunity. So whatever knowledge of peace of Ayurveda I have, I will share with you. So before I start, I would like we all chant 3 Oms together, and then we'll start with that. So you all sit comfortably, so your feet on the floor, hands on your thighs or knees, and then roll your shoulders back, relax your face, your neck, and close your eyes gently. Then inhale, go inward with your breath. few breaths and then gently open your eyes. So namaste and welcome everyone. Before we start, let's take a moment. So namaste is just not a simple word to greeting. It has a deep meaning. It made out of two words, namaha and te. Namaha means I bow in front of you, towards you, and te means to you. So namaste means I really bow towards you. But what is the deeper meaning is that we all have divine existence inside us. So when I meet you, we are not meeting each other only physically. We meet to each other mentally and spiritually. So when I say namaste to you, that means I'm really bowing down towards your divine, which you also have and I have. So I start with that. I really bow down. I express my love, my respect, friendship towards you. So even though I'm presenting something, but I would encourage everyone, if in between our presentation you feel like I have a question, I couldn't get it, please raise your hand. So we want to make it as a samvad. Okay? So I really appreciate how Swamiji laid down the foundation of this retreat. He connect everything. I feel I will connect it, but Swamiji give a glimpse of it and how he connected Veda, Upanishad, Ayurveda. They all are connected and they all have divine origin. So I'm definitely express my gratitude. Yoga Kulam USA, Goriji introduced. It is a non-profit organization established in 2024. So vision and mission that we want to integrate yoga and Ayurveda. So we can use in our daily practice, in our daily life. Education and awareness, our main goal here. We don't want anyone to treat themselves whatever we are presenting here. So it's more about awareness and educational purpose. And we want to community building, social responsibilities. So just a small disclaimer, though everything which we are talking about, it's more than to use, it's for education purpose. So just understand and we become aware what is available for us. So when we are aware, we can make our choices. So here I try to give the name, like what should I name the presentation, right? It's very hard to collect Ayurveda in like 2 talks, but whatever we have, I try my best. So again, Lord Dhanvantari, we bow down to Lord Dhanvantari. Lord Dhanvantari is the god of Ayurveda, means the science of life. Dhanvantari is our god. He provide Ayurveda to us. So I give the name presentation, Foundations of Holistic Wellness through Ayurveda. So there is a difference between health and wellness. Generally, we use those 2 words interchangeably, like health is wellness, wellness is health. That's fine, but there is a subtle difference between them. Health is our goal. I want to be disease-free. I want to be disease not only physical, but also mental. So we want to be disease-free. But wellness is the proactive actions we can take to achieve the health. So to achieve that goal, what we can do, that is wellness. So we can live a purposeful life. So that our goal, so we can more about focus on wellness, what proactively we can do to achieve our goal. This is little bit about me. Already Goriji introduced me. I'm BMS and MD. I did MD from India. My specialization in Prasuti and Stri Rog, which is named for OBGYN in Ayurveda. And I'm also certified Iyengar yoga teacher. I'm also certified yoga therapist, clinical hypnotist, age regression certified. So this is little bit about me. So we want to call it Swasthya Samvad. Swasthya means Swa plus Stha. Swa means in self and Stha means to be rooted in. So Swasthya means to be rooted in self. Then Samvad, which means dialogue. Samvad, like we are dialogue with each other. So that's why I said more or become a presentation, like I'm talking something, you are listening. We want to make it little bit interactive, so everybody can learn something from it. I can learn from you, you can learn from me, right? So let's take it this way, that we have a dialogue with each other. So if I ask you, what is the purpose of health or wellness? Why we want health? Do we want to live long? It's the only goal? So maybe, yes, it could be a goal. So sometimes we think it is just to avoid the diseases, we want to achieve health, or is it something more? So when we think about it, go deeper. In the Vedic tradition, two great sciences guide us, Ayurveda and Vedanta. And again, Swamiji connected them, but I will also try my best how I can connect them. So Ayurveda teaches us how to live in a healthy body and peaceful mind. As Swamiji says, we can see, we can touch. There are gross things which we can see, but what I am thinking, you can't see. But still it is there, right? So while Vedanta helps us understand who we truly are beyond this body and mind, we want to go deeper. So that is not my expertise. There Swamiji has expertise. And mind. So, but these are not separate. They are deeply connected. How they are connected? Because they are connected, then we need Ayurveda. As Swamiji said, maybe before that, no need, people were not getting sick. So to go that, I take this verse from Vedanta Society, Southern California. What does Vedanta teach us? So very subtle way, in the first place, it teaches that you need not even go out of yourself to know the truth. That means even if it's your health, even if it's our mind, and then more deeper, it's about beyond our body and mind. We just need to spend time with ourselves. So everything is available for us. We become ignorant as we started to work in this world, right? So there are 4 purusharthas, or the goal of our life: dharma, arth, kam, moksha. So we say dharma, arth, kam, mokshanam, arogyam, moolam, uttama. Means, if there are 4 goals of my life, this is dharma, like I want to do my duties, what are they? Then arth, I want to earn whatever desires I have, maybe I want to fulfill them. Arth, which is earning, and moksha, which is the ultimate goal. But any kind of these goals, if I want to achieve, first thing what I need is arogya, which is health. So, rogaha tasya aphartaraha sheyasho jivitasya cha. If we are rogi, if we are diseased, we can't think anything else just to be cured that disease. So that's why if you want to achieve higher goals, health is the first thing, arogya is the first thing which we want to achieve. And here Ayurveda help us to achieve arogya. There are different stories about Ayurveda's origin. I will take you through all these. But before we go in that little deeper, more or also Ayurveda and Vedanta talk many things, they are very similar to them, like 5 elements, Panch Mahabhuta. We all are, anything what we can see, it is made out of 5 elements. It is space, air, fire, water and earth. Whatever you can think, substance is available, everything is made out of Panch Mahabhut. Ayurveda also says that, Vedanta also talk about. Also we say, Yat Pinde Tat Brahmande. That means what is the outside in the macrocosm, it is inside our microcosm as well. So that's why we say if we live in harmony with nature, we move closer, not only to health, but also to balance, clarity and deeper understanding. So even though we want to study Vedanta, Vedas, Upanishads, yes, we need health. If we need health, definitely Ayurveda will help you. So wherein, like whatever we have covered now. Ayurveda builds the foundation, health of body and mind. With that foundation, we can pursue our life goals. Even we can think about the moksha, which is the ultimate goal. Vedanta help us go beyond and understand our true self. Both are connected through nature and the five elements. Up to here, if you have any question, I encourage you just raise your hand so we can interact. So now question comes, can we truly focus on life goals when our health is disturbed? I don't think so, right? I hope you all are agree, right? If anybody feel today not like I'm feeling not good, nobody will be here. They need to rest at home, right? So yes, if health is there, we can think about it. Now little bit about Ayurveda. What is Ayurveda? It is made out of two words. Ayu, which means life, and Veda means science or knowledge. That means it's simply like it's the knowledge or science of life. Now life meaning is little deeper. We talk about it. So we say hita hitam sukham dukkham ayustasya hita hitam manam cha tach yatroktam ayurvedah sa uchyate. Even though try to in classical texts define Ayurveda, but still I feel like this definition also not collectively tell what is Ayurveda. But still, again, verse is just one line, but you can write down whole book on one verse. That's how Sanskrit language works, and it's so beautiful. But in simple word, what we can say is that what is beneficial or hit and harmful, which is ahit, for life or our ayu, what leads to happiness, which is sukha, and sufferings, which are dukkha, what is conducive or non-conducive of the health and well-being of an individual. Ayurveda provides all these aspects and their impact on our life. So I hope like kind of it covered everything. If we think deeply, this definition say if we learn Ayurveda, we don't need to learn anything else. It is like that. It is that deep. Now we talk about Ayurveda is science of life. But what is Ayu? What does that mean of life? Sharirendriya sattvatma sanyogo dhari jivitam. Nityagasch anubandhasch priyayer ayur uchyate. Means, Ayu is the union of body, senses, mind and soul. That is Ayu. Even though my body is here, my mind is here, but soul is not there, I can't feel anything. I can't talk to you. So that means without soul, no life. Okay? So see, when we say Ayurveda is the science of life, that means Ayurveda talks about soul. Because it says Ayurveda is the science or knowledge of life. And what is life or Ayu is union of body, mind, senses and soul. Hope it makes sense, right? Okay. So in a sense, life is an ongoing integration of body, mind, senses and soul, upheld and sustained through continuity and connectedness. So now we see, okay, Ayurveda talk about science of life. Life is the union of all these four, where Atma is also there. But does Ayurveda can cure Atma? Because we say Ayurveda is a like medicinal science also. So that's why I keep this slide. So the tripods of living world and the subject of Ayurveda, we need to understand it little bit different. So sattva, atma, shariram cha, trayam, etat, tri dandavat. So these three, mind, body and soul, they are like a tripod. They make us our life. Lokas tishthiti sanyoga tatra sarvam pratishthitam. If those three are in union, that means we can feel this world. Okay? So when these three comes together, it is called Purusha. That means the complete human being. We can interact with world, we can feel, we have emotion, we can go for our ultimate goal, which is moksha. And Chetna, which means consciousness or life force. This union is the main focus of Ayurveda. Ayurveda exists to understand, protect, and maintain this balance between mind, body, and soul. That means, yes, we want to understand this balance. Up to there, Ayurveda works. So again, it doesn't cure, but it talks about how we need this balance to be healthy. So now I will take you through few principles. Around them, whole Ayurveda can play its role. Even though it's deep, but there are few principles beyond that Ayurveda don't go. So, there are 3 principles for knowledge of health and disease. In a broad perspective, we called it 3 Sutra. Hetu ling oshadh jnanam swasth atur parayanam. Swasth means healthy, atur means rogi or diseased. So we say causes of disease means hetu. So we need any kind of cause to make us diseased. So that means there should be a hetu. Then if we take this hetu, there would be sign or symptoms of a disease. Either it's mental or physical, that means linga, and then the method of treatment, oshad. Hetu, there should be a cause. Because of that cause, maybe there are ling, yani symptom and signs of a disease, and if it happens, then I need treatment for it. So very simple, if we need these 3 sutras, we can work. So that Ayurveda works. So it offers guidance for both healthy individual and those who are ill. This is very beautiful thing about Ayurveda, and which stands it separately from other medical sciences. All other medical sciences talk about when person gets sick, we can treat. But Ayurveda says to come to us and get benefit from Ayurveda, you don't need to be sick. Even though you are healthy, still you can prevent your health. That is very unique thing about Ayurveda. So sometimes I feel myself very blessed that I don't need to pray to God that people get sick though, so they can come to me and I can earn, right? So I feel blessed. Even though people are healthy, they come to me to know what is my prakriti, how am my basic nature, and how I can prevent. So yeah, this is also about Ayurveda. Then there are 6 basic principles of knowledge, any kind of knowledge. In Ayurveda, there is a branch, it is called metaphysics. Even Upanishad, Vedanta also talk about metaphysics. So it's go around 6 principles, which we call Shad Padarth. Shad means 6, Padarth means any kind of substance, means of knowledge. So they are 6. Samanyam cha vishesham cha gunan dravyani karma cha samvayam cha taj gyatva tantroktam vidhim asthita. So there are 6. Samanya means similarity. It can be similar in qualities. It can be similar in actions. So this is similarity or samanya. Then vishesh, which is dissimilarity or difference. Then qualities, which are gunas. Substance, any kind of dravya. Actions, which means karma. And their natural relationships or inherence, which is samvaya. So they followed the principle of Ayurveda. Even we can connect with the causes of the disease, symptoms of the disease, or when we want to treat them. So we just play around all these 6 principles of knowledge. For example, if somebody is feeling hot, I want to give him something which has the quality of cooling. That means I give something opposite, which is vishesh, which has different quality. So when it is had different quality, it will decrease it. If I need to give something like, okay, they need something hot qualities increase in their body, so I will give something, substance like it has hot potency or hot qualities, right? So when we feel cold, like I said, okay, why don't you have a hot cup of tea or coffee? It suddenly helps us. That means similar thing we provide. That means I am just giving the samanya knowledge, like similar thing I am providing. Any question up to here? We are good? Either you guys are not listening or I am doing so good, right? I am taking the second one. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Okay, after that, like just few principles, then we'll go, which you can use in your life. But this is important, little bit to know. So then Samanya Vishesh theory, you can see with the diagram, like wherever the similar things, it will increase. It could be similar in maybe same dravya, maybe in gunas or quality, or maybe in action. If it's opposite, it's always decrease, either qualities, action, or anything. Then there are dravyas or element. Still we are see the connection between Vedanta and Ayurveda, right? So, khadinatma manah kalo disascha dravya sangraha sendriya chetnam dravya nirendriyam achetna. Khadi means, kha means akash or space, adi means other four elements, panch mahabhuta. Then along with panch mahabhuta, atma, soul, manas, which is mind, kal, which is time, and dik, which is direction. They all are called dravya, and they are the basic substance, very basic substance. What they do? When these 9 substance connected with the sense organs, means we can perceive and we can react. That means it form a living conscious being. Make sense? If without sense organ these 9 substances come together, they become non-living, because they don't have sense organ, they can't perceive, they can't react. Then again more deeper in Sendriya, but we are not going in that deep. Means if sense organ is there, we can perceive like us, but if there is a stone, it also made out of all these 9 substance, but there is no connectedness with the sense organ. That's why we call it non-living. All the metals, rock, right? Now there are gunas. Whatever we can see, they have basic properties and qualities. On basis of these properties and qualities, they work. In Ayurveda, there are 41 qualities. So first is Sartha, they are 5. Our all 5 sense organs or 5 sense objects, they have 5 qualities. Means sound, touch, form or sight, taste and smell. They also 5 gunas. Then Guruvadayo. They are 20 gunas. I will go in little bit deeper with them. And then 6 Buddhi, which is our intellect, Sukha, which is happiness, Dukha, which is suffering, Dvesh, which is aversion, then Raga, which is attachment, and Prayatna, like we try for something, efforts. And then there are Paradaya, another 20 qualities. But here we will go a little deeper in Guruvadi gunas. Why so? So we can use them in our life. So there are 10 pairs of qualities. For example, first quality is heavy. Something is heavy, then opposite is light. So these 10 qualities are like heavy, light, dull, which is slow, and opposite is sharp. Then cold, opposite is hot. If something is oily, opposite is dry. So that's how in Ayurveda, these 20 Guruvadi gunas or qualities really help us to understand person's quality, how we can treat them, any substance, what I want to give them. So we use them in really, we can say in treatment to cure the disease or even prevention also. So that's why I want to just go a little bit in deeper. But why we want to know the gunas? Because gunas are qualities that helps us understand how different substances and experiences affect the body and mind. All the time to affect our mind or body, we don't need a physical substance. Sometimes words also affect us, right? I feel happy or something. So words also work there. Now karma and action. Prayatnadi karma cheshtitam uchyate. Whatever you want to do, we need to do something. We need to put effort. So very simple word, karma we need to do. Now, one more sad padarthas is inseparable concomitants, which is samvaya. Whatever we can see here, any kind of substance, definitely it has some kind of qualities. And if we take out those qualities from that substance, substance will not be substance. For example, if I can see the rose, it has color, it has a smell, but if I take out all these qualities, rose will not be rose. So these kind of qualities are inseparable. Maybe I also have many qualities. If those are take out from me, I'll not be the same person. So these are the inseparable qualities. Now, we learned 3 sutras. Few more just to, like, you need to use your brain. After that we can use it, okay? But these principles are important to understand, right? Still, if you have any question, I encourage, please ask, okay? So 3 types of causes of disease. Any kind of, either it's mental, either it's physical. What can happen? Kala, which is time, buddhi, which is intellect, indriya arth, which is the sense organs, objects. Either there is yoga, mithya, na cha, ati cha, dvyashyanam vyadhinam trividho hetu sangrah. What does that mean? Either all these 3 things, sense organs, time, and our intellect. Either we use them wrong way, wrong use, we can overuse them, or we underuse them. So simply, if any kind of disease you can think, because of these 3 main causes, either it's mental or physical, these are the 3 causes. You can say they are universal causes. Wrong use, overuse, underuse. For example, I have ears. Ear have the capability to listen, right? If I overuse all the time, like loud music or loud noises, if I had long time, my ear started to hurt, right? Or I don't use them at all, then there is no point I have them. After certain time, they will forget, like, why I am here on my body, right? But if, and underuse also, wrong use, overuse, and underuse, any kind of senses, time, and intellect. Now comes the picture where we talk about Ayurveda, knowledge of Ayu. Ayu is the union of body, mind, and soul. But we said Ayurveda don't cure soul. Nobody can that. How? So 2 sides of pleasure and disease. That's also important to understand. Shariram sattva sangyam cha vadhinam ashrayo mataha. Tata sukhanam yogastu sukhanam karanam sama. What does that mean? The body and mind. These are the places where disease can occur. And also, same time, they are also the source of happiness. So if something need happiness, something can get sick, that only we can cure, right? So when there is proper balance and harmony or yoga between them, mind and body, it becomes the cause of health or happiness. If there is imbalance or disharmony, it's disease. So now in this, when we say 2 sides of pleasure and disease, Atma is not in the picture. That means Ayurveda say I don't cure, but I talk about we need the balance of this. Hope it getting clear. Yes, please.
So you just highlighted mind sattva portion. Is there a reason why that was?
No, another name for manas, sattva, they all are synonyms. It's not the guna, sattva, raj or tam. We are not talking about them. Yeah, yeah. It's just the synonym. Now, what is the nature of Atma or soul? It is nirvikaraha parastva Atma sattva bhut gunendriya. Chaitanya karanam nityo drashta pashyati hi kriya. Ayurveda says the soul is free from all diseases and supreme. It is the cause of consciousness when in conjunction with the mind, objects of sense and sense organs. It is eternal and the observer who witness of all physical and somatic activities. So Atma just observe. It doesn't feel happiness, it doesn't feel any disease, no suffering. So if it doesn't feel or suffering, Ayurveda say I don't cure it, right? So when we talk about health, definitely in definition, Atma comes in picture. But we don't claim that we cure it. Why so? Because as such we can't perceive, nobody can see Atma. But we believe we have. If we don't have Atma, Ayu doesn't exist. If Ayu doesn't exist, then Ayurveda also doesn't exist. So up to here we talk about principle, how it comes, right? Now Swamiji put the foundation, like origin is divine. So I will take you through this very quickly because it's little deeper. There are few stories behind it. And personally I believe stories we are able to remember. That's why there is a way to tell us that this is the story. But never go for those story, okay, long time, this is something happen like that. Because there are some symbolic meaning behind it. Just to make us understand the depth of that thing, why we are saying that. So we call it Ayurveda Avatarana. That means divine origin of Ayurveda. We don't know who were the authors of Vedas. That's why you say all the Vedas origin is divine. Same with the Ayurveda. And Swamiji mentioned it that beforehand we don't need, as such nobody gets sick, everybody is getting there for Purusharthas. But something started to happen, people are not getting there for Purusharthas, they are not able to gain their goal. They started to getting sick. So we need Arogya and health. Then there is stories, Brahmaji sit in meditation and how he get the knowledge of Ayurveda. Then some are about the Samudra Manthan, if you heard this story, the churning of ocean. So that time Ayurveda, the Bhagwan Dhanvantri, Lord Dhanvantri, bring this knowledge for human being. So I take these stories but for us the benefit is that we have Ayurveda, it is available, and when we can get benefit from it, simply. Then Vedic period, 4 Vedas, in all Vedas like especially Rigveda, there is references of Ayurveda, especially in Atharva Veda. There are many references, all the herbs, they are references in Atharva Veda. That's why Ayurveda is called Upaveda or subsidiary Veda of Atharva Veda. When we talk about classical text of Ayurveda, there are mainly 6 books or 6 classical texts. They are divided in 2 parts. First we call Greater Triad or Vrahatrayi. Vrahat means greater, Trayi means 3. So one is Charak Samhita. Charak Samhita mainly focus on medicinal part. Simply we can say our primary physician, what they do is Charak Samhita. Then second classical text is Sushruta Samhita. So Sushruta's text is more on surgery. Even in medical science, they say the founder of surgery is Sushruta. They talk about Acharya Sushruta. Then third one is Ashtanga Hridayam. So Ashtanga Hridayam author, we say 400 BC, it is available, the data. So he collect that it's very hard to read the whole Charak Samhita and Sushruta Samhita. So he collected and make a very concise, so we can read it and understand both part, medicinal and surgery. Then after that, 3 other books are very important, which called Laghu Traya. Laghu Trayi. Laghu means laser, Trayi means 3. So first one is Madhav Nidan. In Madhav Nidan, the diagnosis or pathogenesis of all the diseases are available in detail. Then second book in Laghu Trayi is Sharangdhar Samhita. In Sharangdhar Samhita, in detail it tells that one kind of herb, what could be the different way you can use it. We can use its juice, we can use it decoction, we can make the powder out of it, we can make small capsules of it. So all these different way to use herbs is prescribed in Sharangdhar Samhita. Then comes Bhava Prakash. In Bhava Prakash, like he collected all the herbs and write down about their qualities, their rasa, what the effect on the body, what kind of diseases it can treat. Because for a normal person it's very hard, like everything I bring, test it, understand how it impacts. So there is text available. So generally I used to read all the classical text, but many modern texts are also available, many books on that. But these are the main classical text, which is really, we can say, authentic text of Ayurveda. Then there are philosophical influences. We take about darshanas, philosophy in Ayurveda, Yog Darshan and Sankhya Darshan. We'll not go in that detail, that's Swamiji's part. So I will leave it. Then again, integrate, yes please.
I was wondering about any possible, how the classical texts, especially sacred words, relate to modern herbalists. Is there some innovation or new use of herbs, perhaps herbs that come from other countries that were available originally in the Indian subcontinent?
Yeah. So regarding herbs, Ayurveda, how we use the principle is little bit different. The herbalist use, we go on principles, which is Rasa, Guna, Virya, Vipak and Prabhava. But now during the modern research, like for example turmeric, herbalists also know how to use that. Ayurveda also know how to use that, but modern research has specific diseases, it really helps. Like it has anti-inflammatory effect. So that's how it can connect, but the way you use it little bit different. Another common example of ashwagandha and ginseng, because everyone of aware that. So ginseng is different herb, but it is very similar to ashwagandha. So as such, Ayurveda don't have any way to connect them, but modern research we are doing in lab, all the what is the active compounds in the specific herb, and what is the another herb, what is the active component. If they are similar, yes, they have similar effect.
But there is no text.
Text, maybe in some encyclopedia we find it, but nobody says they has similar effect as such, in my knowledge.
So modern Ayurveda practitioners will freely incorporate what might be certain new ways of looking at the herbs. They don't feel limited by classic texts.
This is hard to say. I hope there is something available, like if something, like for example, I am from India and I don't know avocado before that I moved here, right? There is no avocado in India that time. Now it's exported and transported, that's different. But first time when I eat avocado, I don't know what is the ras, gun, virya, vipak, and how I can connect it Ayurveda. But after consuming it, I can see what is the taste of it. After I eat, how it impact my body, what is it does. So that's how Vedya use their own mind or intellect. So Ayurveda gives us the leverage, which we call yukti, like rational thought you can use, because it's very hard to written down everything. They give us the principle, then on that use your rational intellect, rational buddhi, and you use it whatever you achieve next, right? Even regarding the disease name, that time maybe some very fancy diseases name were not there. But still, in Charak Samhita, they says, whatever disease happen, the principle will be the same. The body will be the same, mind will be the same, the soul will be the same. The basic doshas in our body will be the same. Name could be changed, whatever the name could be. You need to play around the principles. So that's how for the herb, but I hope I answer your question. Yes, but I will also research about that if something is available which can connect herbalist and Ayurveda herbs. Hopefully something working on it, but I'm not aware. Yes, yes. Yes, please.
I have a question about, in the Ramayana, Ram and Lakshman were shot with the arrow and were unconscious, almost going to die. And then, was it an Ayurvedic doctor who told Hanuman, hey, you got to get this
Yes.
particular herb, and then he couldn't, was brought the whole mountain.
Yes. Swamiji, you want to say something about it? Yeah. Yeah. So yes, we can say the Vedya name is Sushin. Yeah. So yeah, he was Vedya and he said, yes, this kind of herbs is available. Go and get it.
And is it still in existence?
It's very hard to say. In Himalaya, if we can reach up to there, yes, maybe available. Hard to say. Yes.
In Sri Lanka, they know the hill it's located, and they say special words for it.
Yes, yes. In even it's so deep. Like now, like I'm practicing, I don't know from where herbs will come. I know Ayurveda, I know the herbs name, I know their quality, I understand my clients, but still, I don't know those herbs from where they are coming, how effective they are they really good herbs? I don't know and I don't have any control. But long time, how Vedya made their herbs by themselves. A specific time, a specific maybe night, some muhurta, they check and then they go specific places to take those herbs. So I...
What he indicated,
Uh-huh.
Hanumanji got that mountain, so there the herb is.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it is still there. We can, it's all about belief and trust.
Over time, a lot of herbs are lost.
Yes.
And with civilization and its progress, right? With industrialization, we just took all the herbs as weed and put insecticides,
Yes.
pesticides.
Yeah. No, but that's very true. Even Chyawanprash, there are 8 herbs which are really, really important for Chyawanprash. But now they are not available. So what we do, we use any similar herbs on that place. And we accept that, yeah, if it's not available, what we can do. But similar qualities herbs we can do at that place. Okay?
Here, dandelion and all.
Yes.
Every plant has some medicinal qualities, but we think they are like.
Yes. Yeah, very nice. So Ayurveda says sarva dravya panch bhotikam and nana dravya oshadhi. Like they says in this world, whatever you can see with yukti or your brain, you can use it as a medicine. Nana oshadhi bhutam jagatam. They says nothing is which you can't use as a oshadhi. Okay. Then we'll not go in very detail like everything happened. Then yes, modern revival we need for Ayurveda because after British rule, Ayurveda is like very few Vedas were practicing. Then we did lot of effort to revive it. And now currently WHO also recognized Ayurveda and in 2022 they established the Global Center for Traditional Medicine in India. So yes, now it's coming. Global wellness industry, integration. So these are things Ayurveda is coming up. This is the most important thing to understand. Okay. So when we talk about health, what do you think? What is health? What could be the definition of health? Anyone?
When the body and mind doesn't trouble me.
then it's health. Very true. Yeah, no disease, body and mind not trouble her, then is health. Very true. Ayurveda say really deeper, and this is, I feel like if we understand that, that is Ayurveda. Ayurveda says sam doshah sama agni sam dhatu mal kriyah prasanna atmendriya manaha swast iti abhidhyate. Overall meaning of this verse is that our body, there are physiological actions going on, physiological reactions are going on, psychological reactions are going on, but everything is going on in a homeostasis, and that homeostasis is health. For example, blood pressure. Blood pressure is very needed for our cardiovascular system, and it's going on, it's good, it's not troubling us, but the moment it's higher, means imbalanced, or higher, we call it high blood pressure. If it's low, low blood pressure, both are not okay. That means we need some kind of homeostasis to feel us healthy. General meaning of this verse. You can see this picture. Health is balance, simple. No complicated things. Health is balance. And this balance is very unique to every individual. My balance could be very different. So on the beach, you can make your own, I can make my own. So that's the picture, just to stay in your mind. That's the health. Ayurveda is like one doesn't fit all. Yes, please.
In the beginning, you said there's the micro and the macro. So if the macro is getting out of balance, does that impact?
Of course it impact. So to understand simply, when season change, our body also feel the changes. Very simple to understand that. Deep level, everything is happening. But just to simply understand, even daytime when change, it impact our body. In the morning when you wake up, you feel different, you feel like not feel that hungry, but in afternoon when sun is really up high, you feel hungry. So yes, it impact our body. So optimal health is to be established in oneself or own natural state. That is health. But now we will go through all this. Sam dosha, what is dosha? We need them in balance. Sama agni, which is our digestive power, metabolic power, we want it in balance. Then sam dhatu, all the bodily tissues, our body made out of them, we want them in balance. And then malaha, they are also all the excretory product of our body, which is for elimination, they also we need in sama. Then prasanna atmendriya mana. Soul should be happy, mana, our mind should be happy, and all the senses should be happy. So these all makes our health. So Ayurveda talk about them. So let's see how much I can cover in this talk. When we meet again, we will start from there. But this definition, we'll go through that, and this is the main goal to achieve today. Before we talk about doshas, what are doshas? We need to understand Panch Mahabhuta. We talk about them. There are 5 Panch Mahabhuta, and everything is made out of Panch Mahabhut. So doshas are also made out Panch Mahabhut. All the Mahabhut, every element has lots of qualities. But just to give you a hint or to understand, earth or Prithvi element, basic quality is it provides stability and structure. Okay. Jala or water element, it provides fluidity and cohesiveness. Then fire or Agni, it has the quality to transform something or metabolize something. Air or Vayu, it has the power to movement and mobility. Then ether or Akash, which is space and expansion. So we can understand if there is no stability and structure, that is no earth element. So like we understand the inseparable qualities. So I take few points which is really inseparable. Then doshas. So when I say some dosha, in Ayurveda, dosha means these are primary bioenergies. which runs our whole body. If you understand, dosha means we say something is wrong, disquality. Guna means quality, dosha means disquality. So first of all, when we say dosha, these are primary energy, they are important for our body, they are doing main functions to run this body and mind. Why we call them dosha at first place? So we will complete this slide and then we continue in our second talk. Okay? So why we call them dosha? So in Sanskrit they says prakritya arambhakatve sati dushti kratatvam doshatvam. Means something which has the quality to initiate and sustain. And also when vitiated they can cause disturbance and pathology, dushti or vikriti. Then we call something dosha. Vhy we need to understand this definition? Because Ayurveda talks about physical doshas which are vata, pitta and kapha. But there then are mental dosha also. And like he asks about sattva. So we have 3 gunas which are sattva, raja and tama. They are 3 guna but they are not 3 doshas. So that's why we need to understand why we call them dosha. Because sattva is the guna. How much you increase it, I have no issues with that. We all want to increase sattva and it's really beautiful. How much sattva we increase, it never destructive power it doesn't have. It have the creative power, right? But rajas and tamas, if they increase too much, they can create issues. That's why there are only 2 manas or mental doshas. That's why we need to understand the definition of dosha, why we call them dosha. So quickly we finish this slide and then we talk continuing in our second talk. So there are 3 sharir, physical or dehik doshas which are vat, pit and kapha. We'll talk about in detail. Then 2 manas dosha, rajas and tamas. So don't confuse with them. We have 3 manas gunas, sattva, raj and tama. But sattva, if it increase, it doesn't create any kind of problem. That's why we can't call it dosha. It's guna. Okay? Okay. Prasatmya oshadhai purvo dev yukti vyapashraya manaso jnana vijnana dharya smriti samadhi. Again, it's just the principle. If there is bodily sharirik doshas, they can be managed by diet, lifestyle and few therapies which Ayurveda talk about and we see them. Then manas dosha or mind, they can be managed by gyan, which is self-awareness. What kind of thoughts I have in mind? If we think, we become aware, maybe we can control them. Vigyan, which is right understanding. Then dharya, emotional control, smriti, mindfulness and samadhi, the focus or meditation. So these are the principles to cure mental and physical ailments. So up to here, if you have any question, we take 1 or 2 questions, then we can continue. Yes, please. Oh, thank you.
I wanted to ask about aging. What is the view of Ayurveda about aging and getting older? Is it seen as a decline in health? Or is it, can you do it differently?
This is the body's nature. So I would say gracefully embrace aging because you can't avoid it. It happens. And it's important. See, like we can get rid of the responsibilities as we get aging and we can achieve our another goals. But definitely Ayurveda says about that naturally as we age, Vata dosha increased. And because of Vata dosha, yes, body's functions decline. It's very natural. Just to gracefully embrace it, we can do few things. So in place of getting all these things in 60, maybe we can get in 80. That can be done. But again, Ayurveda never says there are rejuvenation therapies. Rasayan Chikitsa we call it, which is for aging also available.
So it doesn't view aging as a disease.
No. So it's a Jara Ruk Vyadhi. As such, they are not disease. But yes, they are Vyadhi, they create problems. But in Swamiji's way, I think Jara is, we can say Vyadhi. Ayurveda don't say it's Vyadhi. But when Ayurveda talk about moksha and all these things, that the shloka comes, Jara Ruk Vyadhi. Yes, Jara is Vyadhi. Even our Janm is kind of Vyadhi. Because the moment we take birth, it's the cause of suffering. So in that sense, yes. But Ayurveda, when we talk about medicine science, it doesn't say it's a disease. Yeah. Yes, please. Yes, please.
In Ayurveda, it says that body is just a vessel for the mind to achieve that ultimate goal, moksha. So you can use it as like clothes. Even if you keep new clothes, it will slowly wear out, and then you need to discard and get new clothes.
Yeah.
So that way, body is just using, even like new clothes, if you buy and keep it, over time you'll see that it starts to fade. So that's like body.
Makes sense, yeah. Yes.
You said as you age, vata increases, or
Yes.
I'm curious about that.
Yes, vata increases. We'll go in 3 doshas, what are they do, what are the characteristic, what they do with us. So we'll go in second talk. So it make like more clear. Yes. Thank you.
No, let that be there. Let that be. Please sit. So, thank you, Rajeshma. Thank you for your so nice talk. But yeah, we'll continue. So last point what was going on, in Vedanta we say, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukha Doshanudarshanam. Like Janma, birth, as she rightly said, this is also a Vyadhi. Okay, Janma Mrityu, the death, Jara, old age, Vyadhi, the disease. All the time we have to see the faults in it. Now one gentleman said that we need a vehicle like this body. Body is a vehicle, like a boat, and in that we travel. But in Vedanta everything is reversed. You know, we are the self. In that self, we have mind. In that mind, we have idea of body. See, like, let me say, now we are aware of our body. We think that within this skin that we exist. But think about it. When you are sleeping, you forget that you have a body. Under anesthesia, you forget that you have a body. So where lies what? Is it in body that soul is residing, or in soul the body is residing? Consciousness. So we have idea of mind also. In our deep sleep we forget that we have mind. So this body-mind idea actually we have to see as a whole. When we have a more objective awareness, then we have body idea. Then we think it is a skin, and within that skin we reside. But skin also is in our thought. Body idea is in our thought. So, what we see, it may not be exactly like that. What we are taught, the reality may not be exactly like that. So we need higher learning. So there comes after body, and she treats. Of course we need body. Then only we need a house to live. But house depends on the owner. Okay, so we need body. So that's why Ayurveda was discovered. And Sushen Vaidya, yeah, that was wonderful. So, one more idea, that is like the churning of the ocean. And she rightly said that these are stories to remember. But think of this, churning is going all the time. East and west, it's a churning. And some nectar also will come, some poison also will come. So this is some allegory to convey some ideas. So, like our teachers were very wonderful, how they conveyed, and we have to decipher how it is to be seen, to be understood. So anyway, after body, then we come to mind. And Swamiji is here, Swami Tattwamayananda. And as you know, he's from Vedanta Society of Southern California.
Northern California.
Sorry, Northern California. Northern, Southern. I'm sorry, Maharaj. So, Swamiji was initiated by Swami Kailashanandji Maharaj in 1978, and he joined the order in 78 itself. Swami Kailashanandji was a professor in Dhaka University, then he came and joined the order, and then he served Swami Shivanandji Maharaj, Mahapurush Maharaj, so great Swami. I saw him, Kailashanandji, a great soul, wonderful. He used to do japa, most of the time he would do japa and merged in japa. So, and eyes were swollen like this, big. So, and then Swamiji joined the order. He got sannyas in 1990. So after 2 years, so I got 88. So he's my younger brother, but he's very scholarly. So he underwent various training like Hindu scriptures, Sanskrit, and Vedantic, and he has a family background. Right from his childhood, he was raised in Vedic tradition. Like 4:30, you have to get up and then chant the Vedas, and you have to memorize. And that way, we are fortunate that Veda, as he rightly said, it is Apaurusheya. No man has written. It was discovered. It was revealed to our seers. And we are fortunate that due to such families, Vedas were written when there was no way of writing. But we have not lost even comma or period, full stop we say. We have not lost anything, because there are 10 traditions, how it is chanted. He raised in one of them. We requested him to tell about it last night, but he did not do. Why? Because there is a particular way that sanctity is to be retained. So it is not casual. While eating, we don't talk about this. And that's sacrilegious. That time it was that like that. But anyway, and then Swamiji was posted in Advaita Ashram, then he was a teacher in training center, and he also studied Western philosophy, European history, and English literature, psychology. So we are fortunate that he's here today with us. But today's topic is Yoga Sutras. Yoga Sutra, as you know, it's wonderful aphorisms, and that tells us not only body, but tridosha, triguna, and how to transcend that, how to yogaschitta vritti nirodha. So for cessation of our mental modifications. So without taking much time, I welcome Swami Tattwamayananda ji and also all of you in our second session, and we'll continue with. We are the loser. Yeah, so we wanted to have 2 days, but anyway, that's what mother wants, that way happens. So nice. Let's go ahead. Oh, before that, just a minute.
Yonda pravishya mama vachimimam prasuptam sanjeevayadi akhila shakti dharasudhamna anyamscha hastacharana sravanatvagadim pranan namo bhagavade purushaya tubhyam. Om sthavakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma surupini avatar varisthaya ramakrishnaya te namaha. I am going to give a very brief bird view of the structure of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. I have given more than 220 classes on the Yoga Sutras with Vyasa Bhashya, Shankaracharya's Vivarana, and Vijnana Bhikshu, and others, Yoga Bhashya Vartikam, and so on. Those who are interested, you can go to our YouTube. Stanford University Hindu Student Association requested me to give these classes, which I used to do in Stanford every Sunday. But during COVID, we had to switch over to online mode, and then it continued. So you can see the 67 lectures given to the students for their archival thing, because the Sanskrit scriptures to be preserved in the archives. So I'm giving very brief bird view of this right now. So to begin with, there are two ways of invocations in the yoga tradition. One is Tuve Patanjalim Vyasam Shankaram Chamunitrayam Kartru Sutrasya Bhashisya Kramat Vivaranasya cha. So yoga tradition, there is this Munitrayam, just like in Vyakarana, Panini, Katyayana, and Patanjali. Like that, in yoga tradition also, there are three great triple foundations, so to speak, three great teachers who laid this foundation for the yoga tradition. So the sutras were composed by Patanjali, the Bhashya by Vyasa, and the Bhashya Vivarana by Shankaracharya. After that, of course, Bhoja, Vajaspati Misra, and many others wrote commentaries, but these three great names constitute the Munitrayam in yoga tradition. Vyasa Bhashyam, Yoga Sutra, and Bhashya Vivarana. And then there is another way of reciting this invocation directly addressed to Patanjali. Padena vacham malam sharirasya vaidikena yopa karotam pravaram muninam Patanjalim pranchali ranatosmi. So Padena vacham malam sharirasya. So, Patanjali was a great specialist in cleaning houses. When you contact a company for signing a contract to clean your home every day or once a week. So Patanjali was a great cleaning specialist. Padena Vacham. So he wrote this Mahabhashya because he wanted to purify the human speech. So Vacham Malam Yaha Apakarot Padena. Patanjali's Mahabhashya is the most extensive, voluminous exposition not of uses and patterns of language, but also philosophy of language. Remember, this happened around 5th century BC. You think of this English language called RP was standardized in 1920s by Daniel Jones. And in America, the great Chomsky made a great contribution to linguistics and philology. Patanjali did that in 5th century BC, and 300 years before him, Panini did that. So if you ask anyone the question, which is the most extensive work on linguistics and philology, Mahabhashya. It has been translated, not the entire book, but from 18th century onwards, German Indologists have already started doing work on that. So how human speech can degrade a personality and how human speech can elevate a personality. If you record some nasty words every day and play to you in the morning, you will end up being a very nasty person. And if you listen to Vedic mantras every day, you will end up being an elevated person. So human speech influences human personality, and human personality also influences human speech. So then, Malam Sharirasya Vaidikena, it is said that Patanjali wrote a commentary on Charaka Sutras, one of the Ayurvedic books. But according to some other view, Charaka himself was Patanjali. So these are debatable questions I am not going to enter into. And then, yoga. So, Malam of mind, the depth and filth of mind. How to cleanse your mind just as you clean your body. For that, you should be able to clean your mind. So, vrittis, samskaras and vasanas should be purified. For that, he devised a unique scheme, that is yoga. Yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. So, niruddhavastha comes and mind is pure. So, human mind has got 3 levels according to Patanjala tradition. That is, Patanjali talks about 5 conditions of human mind, depending upon the level of purity or impurity. Kshiptam, Moodham, Vikshiptam, Ekagram, Niruddham. According to him, Kshiptam and Moodham belong to a bit of moronic or repressed personality. So, Kshiptam, you become restless. Mind cannot focus on anything. It is some kind of a mind wandering, perhaps some kind of a, bipolar, things like that. And then Klishta means, Moodha means mind becomes irresponsive. It cannot concentrate on anything. So it's called donkey mind. So it comes from Vivarana. The third state is Vikshiptam. Third state. So Kshiptam, Moodham, Vikshiptam. Vikshiptam state, well, to give an example, suppose you go to Vedanta society or a temple or a bhajan, you feel very happy. You go back to your home, mind is back to where it was. So when you read a book, you feel a great happiness. But after some time, it's gone. So it's like a pendulum moving from one end to the other end. That is the nature of the majority of human beings, Vikshipta. Ekagra means you are able to slowly move towards concentration, and you are able to stabilize your mind. You are able to concentrate your mind on whatever you want to concentrate upon. Ekagra. Niruddha means that is yoga state. Yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. So, according to Patanjali, mind has got 5 levels of evolution, or depending upon the structure of the mind. I shall say a few things about the first sutra itself, Atha Yoga Anushasana. Now, Atha is used in Brahma Sutra, Adhado Brahma Jignasa, and in Purva Mimamsa, Adhado Dharma Jignasa. Here, Pada Vyakyasyamaha, also in Vyakarana tradition, here Atha Yoga Anushasana. Atha means now onwards, from now onwards, henceforth, and these are different interpretations of the word Atha. So when do you turn to yoga? Remember, here we are not talking about yoga asana. Yoga asana is mentioned by Patanjali only in one of the 191 sutras. That is the Stairyam, Nairandaryam, Sukham, I mean Aklishtada. These are 3 important qualifications. Sthira Sukham Asanam. You should be able to sit in the same posture for a long time without your body complaining about itself. Now that is the language of Vivaranagara. I mean, he says, when your body doesn't complain about itself. So suppose you feel headache. Your head is telling you, I'm here. If you don't think about your head, then you no headache. Your stomach announces its presence. I'm here when you feel stomach pain. So when you can go beyond body, that's the ultimate state of bodily health. So that's a very prasanna atma indriya manahasa. So when your mind and your senses, body, everything is in perfect state of equilibrium and inner quietude, which means it doesn't stand in the way of your own transcending body. So to be able to sit like that for a long time, you need to do some exercise. That is the only role of yoga asana in the Patanjali tradition. If you go to get into Samhita, Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Shiva Samhita, you find any number of postures are being taught. But according to Patanjali, all these postures are important, but they are only designed to help you to sit for a long time. Nairandaryam, Stairyam and Saukhyam. Saukhyam means you don't feel the presence of the body. And Nairandarya means for a long time. And then with a continuous succession of feeling of inner quietude. So Atha here means, that's different. Atha means, suppose you are a billionaire, big executive, very big job, everything wonderful. Still you feel a kind of inner vacuum, inner incompleteness. You are very, very rich. You are successful in business, but you're a total failure in life. It could happen. You can be very successful in business. You can be a disaster in life. When you feel the need for some higher transcendental value, at that time you turn to yoga. So turning to yoga, according to Bhashagaras, doesn't necessarily mean starting on your head. Rather, yoga teaches you to stand on your feet, spiritually speaking. So that state is reached when you reach this niruddha state. So, according to Vyasa, who writes a commentary on Parinama Tapa Samskara Dukkaihi Guna Vishesha Dukkhamevam Sarvam Vivekinaha. Vivekinaha Sarvam Dukkhameva. And he talks about Parinama Dukkha. This is the 15th sutra of Sadhana Pada. That will explain the actual relevance of Atha. So I just want to refer to that. We can see this. Parinama Tapa Samskara Dukkaihi Guna Vritti Virodhacha Dukkhameva Sarvam Vivekinaha. As I mentioned earlier, you are very successful, you are very rich, very affluent, everything going on fine for you. Still, if you feel, I want something more, that means you should be an evolved person. A very ordinary person who is happy with money, worldly enjoyments, he can never look for something higher. You are coming to Vedanta society because you have everything in your home, but you want something else. It's not available in the bank because when you die, you cannot carry your passbook and fountain pen because everything is gone. So when you realize the incompleteness, the imperfection, the vacuum of worldly desires, enjoyments, then you say, Atha, now onwards I shall turn to yoga. Turning to yoga could mean going to a library, reading a book, the Sermon on the Mount, Bhagavad Gita, or any spiritual book, or maybe attending a prayer session, learning to meditate, listening to higher ideas. These are different ways of connecting with yoga. That's a yoga actually means it comes from a dhatu, yuj dhatu. Samadho, Samadhi, Samprajnata Samadhi, Chittavati, Nirodha, etc. According to Panini, you see, actually, the Samadhi means, here the yoga context, it means connecting your mind to some higher transcendental ideal. Mind is always wavering, a vikshiptam as I mentioned earlier. You're happy now, unhappy next minute. So you need some kind of stabilizing factor. So you connect your mind which is something stable. Then mind also becomes stable. See, when you feel shaky on your feet, you hold on to something that is stable. And you are able to become stable. So when we connect our mind to something stable, some transcendental value, that is yoga. So just a few things I mentioned. Now, I want to begin with some of the Yoga Sutras itself. Before that, a few words of introduction. According to Patanjali, human experience is divided into two categories. One is our experience and our own reaction to our own experience. You can think of this. We feel unhappy and how we interpret our unhappiness. These are two different ways of human experience. One is called bhoga, the other is called udvega, vega or reaction. And then, in this context, Patanjali begins his sadhana pada with one very important sutra, tapaswadhyaya ishvara pranidhanani kriya yoga. Kriya yoga is the definition. And he thinks this is the stepping stone to yoga, like kindergarten. So, suppose we are not able to meditate, we are not able to practice yama, niyama, etc., which is the foundation for yoga. We'll discuss later. So, in that context, what will you do? If we cannot mentally practice spiritual discipline, then we practice spiritual discipline at a physical level. To give an example, somebody asks you to meditate, you can't do that. Somebody asks you to read a book, not necessarily spiritual, say Eddie Thoreau's Walden, or some book on mysticism, philosophy, mind will not allow you. But if you want to listen to Terminator 1, 2, 3, mind is very happy. Because mind is very happy when it turns to something which is worldly. So that means mind is not ready to enter yoga. But there is a way of slowly getting mind ready for yoga. That is, do some kind of a physical activity will slowly help you to elevate your mind to higher level. So here, tapaka, swadhyayaha, ishvara pranidhanana. So here, according to Vajaspati and others, this Yoga Sudhagara, these are some of the important books, the Kriya Yoga implies some kind of a physical activity. It's called Karma Yoga. This is the definition given by Vijnana Bhikshu and others. Tapaka is okay, but that's a higher skill. Leaving everything to God is also possible. But before all that, when you begin your spiritual life at the kindergarten level, do some noble activity. If possible, intellectually, mentally, which is difficult, physically. See, your mind will not allow you to read a good book. Your mind would rather go for something which is not very healthy. That's a samskar of the mind. So what you do? You do some karma yoga. Do some unselfish activity. So when we engage in any kind of unselfish activity with a pure mind, what happens is that unselfish activity generates spiritual energy. I gave the example yesterday, I think, during conversation, informal conversation. You contribute a small donation, $100, to some kind of a charity that's going on in some distant country. When you send a check, you feel, oh, I have done something sensible. That means your sattvic energy is generated. We feel that happiness. That's why many of the billionaires are starting trust and foundations to do for charity, because they have piled up their billions of dollars by questionable means, so they can't get sleep without taking pills. But they get peace of mind when they do something charitable and compassionate. So Patanjali says, Kriya Yoga is the beginning of yoga. That is the first sutra of Sadhana Pada. So if you go to any of the printed versions of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, you find Samadhipada, Sadhana, Vibhuti, Kaivalya. These are 4 chapters. But in actual spiritual evolution, first Sadhanapada, then Vibhudipada, then Samadhi, then Kaivalya. This is the order in which yoga progresses in our life. But the standard editions are printed differently, all right from ancient manuscripts onwards. First Samadhipada, mostly because Yoga, Chitta, Vritti, Nirodhaka, all these definitions occur in Samadhipada. But it was not necessarily a very organized form. So in terms of our spiritual evolution, the first chapter is Sadhanapada, Abhyasa. Do some disciplines, and then you get some result, Vibhuti. And then Samadhi, and finally Kaivalya. This evolution. So Artha means turning to some higher spiritual ideal. It could be anything. That is the beginning of yoga. Atha yoga anushasana. And then I'm just, it's a huge book in a way for discussion. So I want to take a few important relevant points within 2-3 classes. That's all. There is one sutra, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tan Nirodhaka. It's a restriction, how to control the mind, how to stop mind wandering. There is Abhyasa Vairagya mentioned. In that context, Vyasa writes a very, very famous statement which is very relevant for us to understand our mind. Vyasa's commentary is this: Chitta Nadi Nama Ubhaya Tapovahini Vakati Kalyanaya Vakati Papayacha. So, our mind flows in 2 different directions. One is Kalyana, means for your own good. The other is not for your good. You can always see, if you observe, that our mind sometimes helps us. When our mind is a best friend, then your mind will help you when you try to do something good for you. On the other hand, when you do something that is really very bad for you, your mind will prevent you if your mind is your best friend. So one of the purposes of yoga is, through Chitta Vritti Nirodhaka, Patanjali wants to help you turn your mind into your best friend. How to befriend our own mind. So in the earlier passage, Vyasa Bhashya says, Chitta Nadi, mind is like a river. Ubhaya Tapovahini means it goes in one direction, it also flows in the opposite direction. One direction for your good. I mentioned earlier, I would like to go and meditate. Mind is helping, okay, fine. After some time, procrastination. Oh, maybe tomorrow onwards I shall do that. We often take this decision after listening to lectures, reading book. Tomorrow onwards, I shall meditate for 10 minutes every day. That is Kalyanaya. Mind is moving to a favorable direction. But the time comes, our mind is unwilling. Negative samskaras are creating obstacles. And that set of obstacles manifest in the form of procrastination, laziness. So, Patanjali himself writes, there are some important obstacles he mentioned, Vyadhi, Sthana, Alasya, Samsaya, all these are mentioned later on. So, he says, how to follow the positive direction. Yatu Kaivalya Pragbhara Viveka Vishyatimna Sa Kalyana Vakha Samsara Pragbhara Aviveka Vishyanimna Papa Vakha. One direction leads us in the negative channel. that will not help us to befriend our own mind, to turn our mind into a best friend. Rather, what happens is our mind becomes our worst enemy when we don't follow the real direction. Therefore, Patanjali says we have to follow certain disciplines. That's the first important stage. It comes in Samadhipada. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Of these, there are 10 disciplines mentioned under the category Yama, Niyama. So, Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha. So, incidentally, before we practice pranayama, we should be fully established as far as possible in yamas and niyamas. Especially any kind of pranayama which involves antakumbhaka. For a long time, one must practice yamas and niyamas. Because pranayama, dharana and dhyana will sharpen the instincts, the concentration, the focus of the mind. Mind, when you exercise your mind also develops some unique faculties. Every day, if you practice weightlifting, later on you can become you can lift heavy things which normal person cannot do. The same thing happens to mind also. Through constant practice, mind also develops some higher powers. But before you do that, mind should be trained to observe and handle and manage these higher faculties. That is done by yama, niyama. Self-restrained observances, posture, regulation, breath, withholding senses, fixing the mind, meditation, and perfect concentration are the 8 limbs mentioned here. But I'm not going to those details. But I mean to say, yama means ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. Now let us say, suppose we develop tremendous powers of mind and you are a very violent person. You know what will happen? It will be given, you are giving a nuclear weapon to a terrorist. You can imagine. Because mind should be properly trained to handle these higher faculties. Incidentally, many of the story we hear about people who go for some distance, then later have a terrible falling of the precipice. Mostly because they practice complicated asana like Siddhasana and Shishasana. More dangerous pranayama, especially pranayamas involving Antakumbhaka and Bahikumbhaka. Because when you hold the breath within for a long time, you find a tremendous energy is generated. You feel a lot of enthusiasm when you do pranayama. So the great teachers of Gheranda Samhita, Hatha Yoga Pradika, they have clearly warned that you should go by slow process. Especially Kumbhaka should be done, and external and internal should be done moderately. The time should be extended moderately, not all of a sudden. But people don't do that. So what happens? They feel more enthusiasm, they do more, and they go crazy. This is what happens. Like that, if a person is not well established in ahimsa, non-violence, and if he practices or some of these disciplines, any yogic disciplines, without training their mind to handle, to manage those higher powers of concentration and energy, they will go in the opposite direction. That's why Vyasa says it may move in the opposite direction. Ubhaya tapo vakini. 2 streams, one moving in one direction, the other in the opposite direction. Again, ahimsa, satya, asteya. Asteya and aparigraha. I'm giving some examples with 3 classes only. Asteya means non-stealing. And aparigraha means non-receiving of gifts. What it means is greed, desire for things that actually do not belong to us. A strong possessive tendency. Suppose a very greedy person practices any yoga disciplines. Even dharana, dhyana and samadhi, called samyama it is called. even higher powers of concentration for a wrong person can turn out to be a liability for the rest of the world. So, before practicing any of these Ashtanga Yoga, one should try to moderately at least get established in yamas and niyamas. Sauja, Saddosha, Tapaswadhyaya, Isapridhana. Sauja means internal purity, external purity, the contentment, austerity, strong concentration, pure life, chastity, discipline in our thinking. All these are very important before we move on to the next asana and pranayama. I can give an example. Suppose you drink one strong coffee, 1 liter, and do yogasana and pranayama. You will feel you will develop bipolar. Manic energy first, then manic depression later. Because the energy when you fly very high, then you know it is going to end with a thud. You fall to rock bottom. One example. That's why food discipline with regard to food, associations, activities are very, very crucial in the practice of higher yogic practices. So then another important point as I mentioned. These disciplines should be practiced for a long time. Any yogic discipline should continue for a long time. That's why Satu Dirghakala Nairendra Satkara Asevido Dudabhumi. You can see this word Dirghakala means for a long time. Then Nairendra means continuously, without any intervention, without any interval. And then Satkara Asevido, you should have a sense of sanctity and sacredness. And this is very important. Yesterday I mentioned. Mostly I had in my mind some of the commentators. See, very often when we take up any kind of spiritual discipline, in a casual way, it doesn't work. That's why Sarkara Asevido means you should have respect and reverence. A sense of sanctity and sacredness will help us to catch the essence of these spiritual disciplines. Then we should be able to do it for a long time, Dirghakala, and without any interval, without any break. Then only we can get established in yoga. Now again, there is a very, very well-known, I'm just jumping from one chapter to another chapter, please don't mind, because I want to focus on important teachings, the first class. There is one sutra which is very famous from a psychological perspective. Nimitram aprayojagam pragudinam varanabhedasu tata kshetrigavad. Kshetriga means a farmer. Now, Patanjali normally doesn't use allegories, illustrations or metaphors. Here this is a fairly long sutra. So it means it's nimittam aprayojagam. Pragudinam varanabhedasu tata kshetrigavad. I shall try to outline the implication of this sutra with an example. A farmer, kshetriga, means like a farmer. A farmer is trying to irrigate his field. There is a river nearby, half a mile away. So what he does is, he will cut a canal to link the field with the river, so that water will slowly start flowing towards the field. Now Patanjali says, cutting the canal is not the reason for the water to start flowing. The obstacle along that half a mile distance was removed. That is the pragudinam varanabhedastu. The obstacle that is standing in the way of the water flowing the river to the field was removed. What is the obstacle? Let's say the mud, the soil was cut and removed. Immediately the water starts flowing. Like that, yoga means you remove all the obstacles from our mind. So we are actually healthy. Our true nature is we are really healthy. So, prasanna atma indriya manaka. Body, mind and senses are prasanna. Prasanna means a natural, spontaneous state of tranquility, peace, and aklishtata means spontaneous tranquility, joy, natural tranquility, peace. That is our true nature. Then what is the foreign body? All these vrittis, vasanas and samskaras are the foreign bodies. Actually, when we fall sick, we get something foreign, alien to our body, and medicine removes that. Actually, our real state is that we are healthy. What happens? Something enters your body system, so you take a vaccination, you take a medicine to remove that malam, according to Patanjali's own language, malam sharirasya vaidyakena. Ayurveda is meant for malam sharirasya vaidyakena. Yogena chittasya malam apakarot. So, yoga helps you to remove the dirt and filth, means foreign bodies, which are accumulated in the mental system. See, in today's world, when you need the internet, YouTube, social media, there are different channels by which we gather a lot of filth and dirt, foreign bodies into your mind. So mind falls sick. That should be removed. And once you remove that, mind gets back to its own pristine state. So suppose you are a sculptor and you are given a granite block, and then you are asked to, let's say, make a statue of Buddha. So Patanjali will tell you, you are not building Buddha. You are only removing, chiseling out all unnecessary parts for the granite block. And it happens, Buddha emerges. Like that, when we remove from our mind all the dirt and filth, like, karma, vritti, samskara, sankalpa, vasana. This chakram is called, Patanjali, Vyasa used the word chakra, means a wheel. Whatever we do, that action produces a result, vritti. When the same action continues for a long time, the vritti becomes solidified, like reinforced, becomes samskara. And samskaras will imprison you. So all our actions are driven and influenced by our samskaras. The samskara is actually one of the unique original contributions of Patanjali's system. Vyasa, not Patanjali. Patanjali mentions that, parinama, tapa, samskara, dukha, etc. But Vyasa Bhashyam and Vivarana give a very solid foundation to the very concept of samskara. According to, in fact, many of the modern mainstream psychology books have borrowed this word from yoga literature, samskara. Samskara is something we can very easily misunderstand because it cannot be fully explained. The way we do things, the way we do not do things, the way we react to our circumstances, the way we do not react, all these are influenced by, decided by our samskaras. So I will conclude now. I think it's time for tea. I will continue from next session onwards. Thank you. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tatsat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Visiting San Francisco next weekend.
Ah.
So we hope if you're there, we will love
Next week, what date?
Easter weekend.
Okay, you know my email address?
I don't think so.
You can get from Swamiji before you leave? Yes, my email. Most welcome. Yeah.
I might have it too.
Yeah, you may have it. I think you may have. Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah.
You remember me? I came to California in Telangana.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 5 minutes. Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful. I needed exactly what you said. Wonderful. I will come back in the afternoon. I will miss lunch, but I will come back.
This is the linking one.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Swamiji, I will take over.
here. So
Here, and also
Ramakrishna,
that she's in the TV too sometimes. Actually, she can share her screen if she joins Zoom. That might be easier.
oh yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. If she can join the Zoom, yeah, she can share her screen for you.
Then, yeah, if you tell us.
Oh, yes, that'd be great.
So Ramakrishna's behind him? Because there's nothing behind him over here.